Rome, Italy. Within this modern city lie the ruins of what was once the capital of the Roman Empire. For centuries, Rome was the most sophisticated metropolis in the ancient world. And Roman engineers also built breathtaking structures throughout Europe and the Mediterranean, many of which can still be seen today. These engineering marvels have endured the ravages of time for nearly 2,000 years and stand as magnificent monuments to Roman ingenuity.
The Romans were certainly the most brilliant engineers of the ancient world. When we think of Rome today, we think of the Colosseum, we think of the aqueducts, we think of triumphal arches. All of them are an emblem of Roman civilization. They could discern effective technologies and then exploit them to a much greater extent than anyone ever imagined previously.
The engineering achievements of ancient Rome are well known and continue to capture people's imagination. But is it possible that the Romans were even more advanced than most of us realize? And could they have possessed technology that rivals our own? Tongaren, Belgium, January 2023. The curator of the Gallo-Roman Museum announces an extremely rare archaeological discovery. Using a metal detector, a local hobbyist unearthed a fragment of an ancient Roman artifact. This tiny piece of bronze was once part of a mysterious object known as a Roman dodecahedron.
Any discovery of a Roman dodecahedron is remarkable and unusual because there's not many more than 100 known to exist. Generally, a dodecahedron is a 12-sided item, and the Roman dodecahedron was about the size of a baseball and had 12 sides. They were hollow inside and multifaceted, with different balls or spikes around the outside of them, which are very difficult to create through moulding or construction.
Roman dodecahedrons have been found all over Europe, and nobody knows for sure how they were made. The craftsmanship that it would take to make a bronze Roman dodecahedron would have been very challenging for a metal artisan to make at the time. So it could have been an example of the skill of an artisan to show, like, look what I can do, because it was very complex and bronze was not cheap.
Historians theorize that Roman engineers may have fashioned dodecahedrons using a sophisticated molding process. But why did the Romans go to such lengths to craft so many intricate and peculiar pieces of bronze?
What's strange about them is that there is no record of what they were used for. And it's still quite a puzzle and a mystery to historians what function they actually served. However, there's a number of uses that have been proposed, from tools in astronomical calculations to candle holders, as well as implements in religious performances.
What they are has been disputed many times, and I do veer towards the very practical explanation, and that is that it was a sort of knitting device. Because if you put yarn around the various protrusions on the dodecahedron, you can create a sleeve or a tube of knitted fabric. In theory, that is something really practical, because some Roman garments are depicted with sleeves.
There is still a huge amount of mystery around these very peculiar objects, but one of the most popular theories is that it had a more mystical function. Perhaps it was used in divination or sorcery or fortune-telling. Some historians wonder whether these objects were used for forbidden rituals. Now, if these were indeed tools for the so-called dark arts, this raises the question, is this part of the reason why there are no records explaining what this dodecahedron was used for?
Whether Roman dodecahedrons were used during rituals or for more pragmatic purposes, they remain a fascinating enigma and suggest that the Romans' craftsmanship was far ahead of their time.